Okay, hello everyone. This is the final match of season 17 here against Stef. So, you always get good quality when you play against Stef, right? He always brings something good to the board, to the table. Um, so what do we have here? It looks like, a lot of copper gaining cards, Beggar, Treasure Trove, Counting House interacts with Beggar. You could entertain thoughts of trashing down and using Ghost Ship and Crossroads and Ambassadors and Engine, but there's Gardens on the board. Gardens loves Ambassador attacks, so it seems like Ambassador is really not going to be that much of an issue here. In fact, there's also Beggar and Gardens, and that's a notable combination. However, there are a couple other things to think about, being Counting House. That is also a notable combination. And also the treasure trove, something to consider, of course, something to consider. So I am not sure how to play this actually, now that there are these other nice things to consider. Beggar Counting House, that could get you to provinces, Beggar and Gardens, well, that is exactly what it says it does. But I figure there's also Duchy and Duke. That could be a thing you could do as well. I mean, Beggar isn't terrible for going for Duchies and Dukes. So there are a few ways you could approach this really, and all of them I believe starting off with a pair of beggars, which is what we both end up doing here. Not too surprising on the board. But where to go from here is your real issue, right? So I have excellent draws on turns 3 and 4, and I'm actually not entirely sure what to do about it. So I have 6 here. So I could get a trove. I do think it's too early for a counting house. I could go for the duchies, I could go for the gardens immediately. Not sure. Honestly, not sure. I go for the gardens straight away, just trying to knock those out. What I eventually do come up with is that, okay, so if Steph decides to go for the duchies and I am hammering the gardens, the copper pile will run. We have 4 beggars currently, so I hope that it will force him into a 3 pile situation where he's uncomfortable. Like if he gets 8 duchies and wants to go for dukes after, by that point, the game should probably be like one beggar play away from ending, hopefully. And 8 gardens would beat 8 duchies. So this is why I started in on the duchies straight away. Um, however, Steph actually stops for a treasure trove, and if he's stopping for a treasure trove, well then I have time to stop for a treasure trove. So I do that, and I see it on the reshuffle. So again, very good draws on the reshuffle with 5 coin total. Another beggar here. Well, this is the second beggar for Steph on his turn 4, and he does spend quite a bit of time thinking about what to do. Understandably so, understandably so. And I think what he eventually ends up buying is an Artificer. So a little bit surprised to see the Artificer initially. Let me make sure he buys the Artificer before I go on to talk about it. Right, so here's 7 and the Artificer, yes. So I was surprised initially, but I mean, an Artificer play guarantees you a 5 cost or a 4 cost card, which would be Gardens or Duchy or Duke or Treasure Trove, or as I thought later, a Counting House. The issue with Counting House and Beggar is that you don't know, you have no control of when the Counting House comes up. With Artificer, you have some. You can stick that in your deck when you know you're guaranteed to get up to province. So that's a little sneaky play by Steph there. I realized it a little bit later that the Artificer could do that, which is sneaky, is clever, and I liked it afterwards. By the time I noticed it, it was too late for me to pick up an Artificer, so I was like, whatever, don't worry about it. In the meantime, I've been going after the gardens, and Steph here has bought a duchy, so he might be angling for Duchy Duke, right? And like I said, I have no real problems with that. Here, however, he does gain a gardens and uses Beggar to buy another gardens. So after the initial duchy, he has a couple gardens, I believe, and I think he'll buy the last one here. So the garden split actually is in my favor, 5-3. I'm thrilled about that in this kind of game, Beggar and gardens and stuff. I'm very, very thrilled about that. So I now start to go for duchies, obviously. I'm not going to buy anything else. So duchy, turn before, duchy here, getting the treasure trove down, that's nice. This isn't so nice. So now Stef has one duchy extra to me. For what can I do? I can buy a beggar, I can buy a silver, I can buy an estate. And that's what I end up doing. I go for the estate here, just trying to get as much points as possible. Another beggar for Stef. Another $5 hands. These latter $5 hands here now are really hurting me because another $5 hand means another duchy for Stef, which is he's now two duchies in front of me, right? $4 again. This would be great if there were gardens on the board, but there's not gardens. However, my opponent does not manage to get up to duchy again, so I'm glad for that. Instead, going to pick up the estate as I do here on 4. And here finally I have enough for a duchy, but at this point I lose this duchy split. Didn't want to lose the duchy split. I didn't think I would lose the duchy split. I thought I would get to 5 a lot more frequently than I did in the middle of that shuffle there. But what was it? 4, 4, and 3? And my opponent hit 5 quite a bit. They do have the extra beggar, I believe. Not sure how much of a role that played, but me not hitting 5 in the middle here is quite bad, because I'm gonna lose the duchy split by the same margin that my opponent lost the garden split. So here the Artificer comes out, and I am extremely thankful that he drew it like at the top of our shuffle. If it was at the bottom of our shuffle, we would have screamed, because counting house equals province equals massive hammer blow to the point, right? I'm barely holding on here. Again, 4 coppers only here, not enough for 5 to even get to Duke, which I would love to get to just to try to, you know, prolong the game. I have the garden, so if the longer the game goes, is the better for me. Unfortunately, not 5, still not 5, and now maybe I don't want to buy an estate. But we are tied on points there. The estate pushes my opponent 1 ahead. I can't buy the penultimate estate, of course, because I would just give him an easy win. And now we are looking at a 3 pile. I noticed, I was aware for the game that the coppers would pile. I remember I said at the beginning that was the plan. If we went for duchies and gardens, the coppers would 3 pile, but I totally spaced on the end here and was actually genuinely surprised when the game finished. So, I mean, a bit of thought and subtlety, my opponent was able to pilot it to victory. It looks like the duchy was more valuable than the gardens here. I'm not entirely sure how this result turned out this way. Maybe you could have a look at it and tell me otherwise. Alright, thank you for watching, and I will see you in game 2.